Okay, hi guys. We are just waiting for some of our speakers to join right now. So sit tight, and wait and get excited. But maybe to fill the time, I'll just give you a brief run of show. We'll be bringing on um, Marco, one of our BD guys, to give us a bridge recap, talk about all the great things and not so great things that happen, how we're fixing the problem. Um, Jeremy, one of our community mods, to, also give some good insight uh, and answer some frequently asked questions. And lastly, it'll be my turn to talk, and I'll just go over kind of our social week um, actions while we let our engineers handle the load that we, learned about in the last week. So yeah, sit tight, wait. And we will bring on these speakers when they are ready. Thank you so much. Woohoo! Hello, Marco.
Hey, can you hear me, Emily?
I can hear
Oh,
you.
finally.
Okay. Yes.
Hello.
We are waiting for one more. I just want to call out, if you have questions, please post them directly under the space tweet. So that's where we'll be looking at, because there's over 3,000 of you. We have like no ability to bring people on stage. So yeah, we'll have mods be checking through those questions and address them at the end. Um, but yes, please share, and I'm excited. Um, cool. How do I share this? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. I guess while we wait for the other speaker, we can actually probably just go ahead and get started. We are 6 minutes into the hour. Um, so I'll start with myself. Hi, guys. I'm Emily. I'm the developer advocate for Linea. So if you haven't seen me around, I run the community calls. I help moderate the Twitter spaces, doing docs. We have some really exciting stuff bringing on, developer tooling and various ecosystem partners, learning how to build. So please check it out. Keep an eye on that. We're really excited to see you guys do fun things. Also, I guess brief um, kind of call out before we start as well. If you're going to be in Lisbon, we're going to be on a panel at Epic L2 Day tomorrow, May 10th, as well as supporting the Global Hackathon, Youth Global Hackathon. So yes. Oh, Jeremy's on. Okay, so we can actually get started. Let's do a brief round of introductions. Marco, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody, guys. I'm Marco. I'm coming from the Beats Dev team in Consensus, and I'm currently leading the growth for Linea.
Awesome. Jeremy?
Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing okay today. I'm a community moderator for the Consensus Community Support Team, and I'm excited to be here today. And thank you so many people for being here.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna start with Marco. I just want to say last week was insane. The engagement was over the top. Things were wild. But I think there are a lot of cool things that happened and a lot of lessons learned. So Marco, I'm just gonna give you the space to give the full rundown of last week.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emily. Yeah, definitely insane, definitely over the expectation. We were running some number in Consensus before, and we did not expect this level of engagement. So few numbers on the participation. We saw more than 450,000 unique addresses that successfully interacted with Galaxy, claiming some tasks, some points. But more than 550,000 unique addresses interacted with the bridge over the week. So that means that some other users are going to claim some other points. So the participation data could be even bigger than this. We saw 2.7 million page view and 250,000 unique viewers only on the Galaxy page of the campaign. That's an impressive number that goes over many of the quests that we recently seen in the ecosystem. Just between the 2nd May and 8th of May, on the network, we saw just 2.5 million transactions with more than 400,000 new unique wallet addresses deployed. Only around 20,000, bit more than 20,000 addresses were tagged as bots by one of our Intel partner, that is Gino. We should have a tweet. Maybe we can link the tweet here on this space. We have this partner that runs some Intel analysis, big data analysis, collecting a lot of source of information and trying to tag bot activity on the network. And the result, it's really impressive. We were expecting a much higher value of bots interacting with the quest, but it seems that it's not so big if we compare with the number of people work. So issues. We found a lot of issues. So again, the overall reason why we are running this quest is that we really need to identify all the bugs, bottlenecks during testnet, because we definitely want to avoid finding those issues on mainnet, because it can get significantly worse scenario if that happened on mainnet. We already found some issues thanks to the of engagement that we saw during this first week. We had some issues and we created some issues to the overall community as well. Girly, Mumbai, Binance Smart Chain Testnet, Avalanche, transaction fees skyrocketed due to the Linea quest. It's very possible that we were one of the main reason behind the instability of this network during the quest. This created a lot of issues that we are really sorry to other teams that are relying on Girly to build their impressive use cases and projects. And that's the main reason why we decided to do not delay the quest, because that was a huge request coming from the vast majority of users to get some more time to complete the task on the first campaign. We decided to don't provide any delay because it was already destroying, breaking other network and creating issues to other projects. So it was better to stop the bridging activity as expected. We just provided 1 day more than expected. We were finding some issues related to the RPC connectivity. The RPC was not stable. As of today, Linea is accessible via public endpoint that is operated by the Linea team, via Infura services for partners, for few selected partners that have been whitelisted, that is operated by Infura, and via direct RPC, like peer-to-peer nodes on Linea that are operated by few selected partners, and they rely on their nodes to actually access the network. Just for you to know, only the number of requests that reached out our RPC endpoint on both Infura and the public one was more than 4,000 requests per second. So it was really impressive. What we did to try to fix these issues during the quest is that we reduced the rate limit on public endpoint. We increased the infrastructure, increasing the number of nodes, the size of the nodes, and we started to get some more stability. We started to invite some of the bridging partner, actually all of the bridging partner, to run their own nodes and start to offload the pressure on our RPC endpoint. What we are going to do when it comes next, we are going to reduce even more the rate limit. We are going to rotate some API keys on Infura and move partners to individual API keys to understand where the bottlenecks are even better. If it's related to the DApp, specific DApp, how the DApp uses the RPC endpoint and the request made to Linea, or if it's just organic user activity on the DApp itself, and to understand if there are bots driving up this request or it's just a organic user activity on the dApps. Another point is that transaction fees are going to increase on Linea. So the mean gas price is going to increase naturally because we need to follow the layer one transaction fees. So with the recent spike on Girly, there will be an increase on Linea transaction fees as well. So transacting on Linea today, it costs around 2.5 GWay. The transaction fees we do expect to be increased when it comes to the next campaign. When it comes to bridges, this is very important because the Linea message bridge was super stressed, and this is used by many bridges that were part of the quest. And this actually was one of the reasons why some bridges was not very responsive. We took this to fix some issues. So a new message bridge infrastructure will be delivered in 2 weeks. And we actually we expect that will fix some of the issue that we observed during this quest. Another important part is about the faucet. Some faucet were not operated by Linea or by bridge partners, but faucet as the one that we made available as Linea, these are not set up to be stressed like it happened during this week. Just for you to know, on Linea faucet, we got more than 500 requests per second. Only on some part of the faucet, only on the treasury-based faucet side. Transaction were queued to a point that servers run out of memory, and we run something like 8 servers for a faucet. This is not really the case for faucet that are not even managed by Linea because they are not intended to serve this huge amount of users. Lesson learned is that next time that will be needed a faucet, this will be made available in advance, even if we don't think that there will be another part of the quest that will involve faucets. The other important part is that all dApps that are deploying or are already deployed on Linea are using a test infrastructure. Test infrastructure, as usual, are not comparable even remotely to a mainnet infrastructure because the number of users expected are not really in line with the one of mainnet infrastructure. And that's the case for the bridge partner that we had on Linea. This partner actually deployed their own testnet infrastructure, but the load was too high that it outpaced the load that they see on mainnet. So it was not really feasible for them to keep the load using a testnet infrastructure. And the bridge partner like Hope, Seller, Connext, Multichain, Li-Fi, they did their best to scale it up and fix issues, but you know that the short time frame was not really on their side to keep it up with all the load that was coming. So all the issues that we saw with bridges and with partners were a combination of RPC failure, faucet failure, transaction fees. There's nothing we can do about that, of course, because it's how a blockchain works, and testnet infrastructure. And partners did their best to scale it up in the limited time frame. What I would love to tell all the listener of this space and all the user that complained about the bridges, I would love to invite you to use and test these bridges on their mainnet instances, even on other chains, to get a clue on how slick the user experience is on these partners and get a taste of what will be the experience of Linea when we will go mainnet. You can even test all of them through MetaBridge that is within Metamask. So if it happens to you to use MetaBridge, it will show you how easy it is to bridge token from one network to another, and that will be the same for Linea when Linea will be mainnet, because we are going to fix all of these issues for mainnet. So of course, many users were not able to fulfill the quest. I have a few things to say on this. The first thing is that it should be normal that not all user will be able to complete all the task, because if not, at the end of the quest, we are going to end up with all user having the same score, and there won't be any tiring of the global leaderboard. So please don't get upset if you are not able to fulfill a quest. There will be 9 weeks of quest. There will be a distribution of user among different tasks. There will be tasks that will not be even involving on-chain activities, so like the one that we just published for this week campaign. No need to be unhappy for the first week. Everyone will have a chance to participate and contribute to the quest, and will have a chance to collect some points. This is really something that we do to minimize issues when we will go mainnet. Third thing, and probably the most important thing, bots activity. We are not angry with CBILs. Actually, the activity that we need is on-chain activity to stress test the network and minimize the possibility of bugs when we will go mainnet. Actually, bots were able to contribute to the stress testing and identification of bottlenecks on Linea and the message bridge. And people spend a lot of valuable time on building these scripts that were able to automate the task process. They definitely deserve a kudos for this amount of hours spent working on this. Anyway, we really need to prioritize human-driven activity, because we are sure that even without bots, we are able to get huge level of engagement, as we saw today. And we definitely don't want that bots will remove the possibility for real human user to actually use the network. Few examples. We saw bots trying to repeat the same task over and over. They were counted as a single task. So if you manage to get a bridging transaction, I don't know, from Girly to Linea 3,000 of times, it will be counted as just one time. So you just consumed Linea resources, you just stopped other user to be able to participate, and you got the same score of another user that did this operation just once. So this is really not necessary. The other important thing to bots developer that I want to say is that as part of the quest, almost at the end of the quest, there will be a specific task that will be focusing on understanding the activity if it's human-driven or bots-driven. And whoever is going to complete the task, it will be able to demonstrate that it's a real human. It will get a multiplier of points. So if you're running a bot, you will probably risk to waste all of your resources just because a user that get 10 points will be able to demonstrate that it's a human user. It will be multiplying points up to 1,000, for example. So it will be able to get more points than a bot that is not able to demonstrate that it's a human. So this is very important. Please take care when you work with bots, because all the result could not be really in line with your expectation. Emily, back to you.
Wow, that's amazing. That was so much information. Explained very clearly. Thank you so much, Marco. Especially, I think that end about don't you're going to be consuming resources if you're using bots, and it's not beneficial for you in the end run at the end. So, really
Yeah.
helpful information, Marco. That was awesome. I know there are some questions that are kind of answered by you in the section, but we'll rehash them very quickly at the end in case people joined later. Um, but now we're going to bring on Jeremy. So, Jeremy is one of our star community managers. Literally, during this kind of whole thing, I was like looking at Discord and I just got so much anxiety because there's so much
Yeah.
activity going on. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are the best people. I need to figure out all of your addresses so I can send flower baskets and chocolates, and I don't even know how to thank you guys. So definitely, Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on as one of the representatives. You're awesome. Everybody, please give him like a round of applause for just handling kind of this crazy activity. But I do want to bring you onto the platform to let us know kind of what the experience was and how we can like best help you guys do your job, and also some frequently asked questions throughout the kind of campaign of week 1 that you would like to address.
Sure. Thanks, Emily. I appreciate it. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here. And a lot of you showing up, which is great. It was intense, to say the least. Even before the campaign started, just in testing alone, like the public and the private, we went through the mill with a lot of the issues that we thought we tackled already and completed on the developer side, as Marco said. And as we see now, there's still so many more users participating in the Voyage campaign that we see the numbers just growing and the engagement growing, which is like the best part. Like that's the main thing to take away from this is there's like so many people that are interested in using this technology, and that's what I take from it. Also, a lot of the questions that we saw were based on like the bridges, like on the gas fees and network congestion. As everybody knows who's been in the campaign last week, they already know what was happening. We gave them the best advice that we could. We fixed what we could. Obviously, it's a stress test for the Linea network before we launched the mainnet. So that was the main reason we did this, and also though to engage the community. So those issues that were reported by our community, it was great feedback because we've taken it all into account. And as Marco said, we've definitely been spending a lot of time fixing what is broken on the system so far. So everything's going pretty well in that department. As far as users and the points, that's another issue. They want to know if they can still claim. We've extended the time to claim points, which I think has helped out a lot of people actually achieve the full amount. That was one of the main concerns from a lot of the users. Also, the fact that it's like this is here just to engage. I want to say that again, stress that to everyone, because this is something that can bring a lot of us together, make a lot of lasting relationships. And whether a lot of people in the community agree with that, I think this is one of the biggest goals that we should strive for, is to build that bond with the community, give them the faith in us like we have in them to help us test, and to be like one of the top leading, like the standard for all of these software companies going forward in Web3. I think this is one of the biggest goals that we have. So without their feedback in the community, we don't really see what's happening from the user point of view, and I think that's really important for all of us. Another aspect I want to bring up is over the last week or so, and even over the last couple months, once we launched the private testnet, we saw a lot of community engagement. A lot of members came in and offered their time. They spent hours in there helping their fellow community members, like field questions, answer any concerns that they might have on their own time. And I think that was great. There's a few. I was going to mention a couple real quick, like Kasia, Tuya, DeFi. You guys know who you are. They came in and hustled. Really helped us out because it was overloaded, as everyone saw. And Emily, like you just said, it was crazy when you just went into Discord and looked. So also, I want to thank the help desk team for giving us their time also, and really killing it in there and trying to help out the community as much as they did. It was amazing. Everyone's been doing a great job. It was like all hands on deck. Going forward, week 2, I think that a lot of the concerns are going to be whether it's just being able to find out where the answers are, because this is off chain, these tasks for week 2. So this is the social campaign. That's a lot easier. Hopefully a lot of users can breathe. The testnet can breathe a little. I think everybody just wants to be able to just go through and have fun. And that's the whole point of this, I believe, is just to have fun. We want everybody to have fun with this and to test and not to be stressed out. I want to just make sure everybody's clear on that. This is supposed to be engaging and be fun. And, everybody's working together here. So let's just remember that going forward. So that was the best part for me. That's what started. When I started as a moderator, I was like all in as a community member, spending the time. And I really was passionate about that community. And that's what got me hooked into Web3. And I see that more and more each day. More people just coming forward and trying to help out and trying to be there. And it's nice. It's nice to see, because it actually gives you more faith in what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to build. Yeah, back to you, Emily, unless you have any other questions that you want to ask.
Yeah, I just want to ask one more thing. Where can we give feedback? What's the best avenue for that?
I would just direct everyone to the Discord, the general channel. If you do have questions, Linea General, that would be the best place to go in the consensus main Discord server. You'll see the category for that. Read the announcements for Linea in there as well. Go through those. And in the Linea General channel, we have a pinned message section also. Most of the answers that everyone needs are right in the pinned messages. Just want to say that again. So please, everybody, just check the pinned. And if you, as always, if you have any questions, we also have a forum, and all the links should be there in the announcements channel for Linea on the Discord. And please, anyone, if you have any questions, please reach out to me or anyone from the community team. Like I said, in Discord as well, we can answer you on Twitter as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, awesome. I really love that point you brought about feedback because I think so much of it is talking about like stress testing the network, but the user experience and just like that kind of stuff is an incredibly important part of like this entire process. Right. So I'm going to dive into announcements about Social Week. So, as noted before, this week is an off chain week. So, hopefully, we'll give some like breathers for other developers developing on the network. Um, and just kind of have the community, engage with us, see what's going on. So, in terms of activities, we're going to be sharing one of the activities, going to be sharing a Social Week post. The next piece is for those of you in our Twitter space right now, that is one of the activities. So, uh, that's great. I do want to note our man Elon Musk only allows for up to 1,000 people's like information to be pulled from the space. So anyone who is overflow will be counted through clicking onto a YouTube link that will be uploading basically this space. So after the space is recorded or like finished, they'll take that recording, post it on YouTube, share a link. And then if you go through that link, that is how you're going to activate that activity. And the last piece is we're going to have a poll about our Linea emoji. So please help us make some decisions and join there. But otherwise, I think one thing I want to just touch on again, like we love our users, we love our devs. Like I said, I will be at ETH Global Lisbon. If you're around, come find me. We'll be at the Metamask booth. We do have a bounty we're offering for devs. And it's really exciting because I've already met developers who have built on Linea organically, right? Like not through a hackathon. So it's really exciting to see that kind of stuff. So now I'm just going to dive into some of the questions. Like I said, they might have been answered at the beginning of the call, but I know some people joined later, so I think it's good to rehash. The first piece being, will there be a way to verify week one transactions we couldn't claim, but can provide a girly transaction hash for?
Sorry, Emily, I didn't listen to the question.
No worries. So basically it's saying, can we claim points for something that happened in week one that we can provide a girly transaction hash for?
I need to check this. I'm not sure. But more in general, if you started the transaction, so if your asset were not controlled by your MetaMask anymore, you are definitely part of the claimable list. There could be some errors, so please reach out, Jeremy and the colleagues on Discord, and we will try to manage that, of course. If you were not in control of your asset anymore and they were already taken in the hands of the breaching process, then you will be able to point.
Okay, cool. Another piece. So this was handled a bit by you already, Marco, but I'm just gonna ask you again. So, how are we going to improve the situation? Probably next week when we begin like on-chain activity. How are we going to ensure that it's scalable and able to kind of accommodate all of us and our tremendous growth?
Well, first thing is that we hope that after this phase, the bots activity will be even lower because bots tend to consume resources available for other users. Then, as you may notice it, yesterday the RPC endpoint was more responsive. We are going to spend this week in improving the RPC endpoint even further, working with partners and trying to identify other bottlenecks so that we will be more ready for the next phase. And also the next on-chain activity will be involving different partners. We will make sure we are already talking to them to make sure that their infrastructure are better placed. But please, all of these still are testnet infrastructures, so they are not prepared enough to keep the load. So just please be patient. Also, the fee increase on layer 2 will probably reduce the amount of transactions. So we do expect it will be more stable. But please, again, be patient. This is a testnet. There's no value involved. You are not going to lose money. So if something is going to not be very responsive, don't be stressed out. And there will be other ways to contribute to the network.
Cool. So this next question is essentially, how does Linea differentiate itself from its competitors?
Well, that's not really related to the quest, but it's still a very interesting question. We believe that working together with Infura and Metamask is a distinctive elements of the value proposition. From a developer perspective, there's not really many differences with other layer 2s, other ZK EVMs, because we are an EVM compatible, so a developer can port their application with low switching cost as they do on other chains. So it's the downside of implementing a standard. Everybody implements the same standard, so the value proposition seems very, very similar. On our side, we definitely will remove some barriers because user will not have to configure a network, because user can easily interact with the network using the tools that they already have today, like they can directly ramp on Linea using Metamask. They can bridge, relying on bridge partners directly within Metamask. That will be the default bridge frontend. In a very simple way, swaps will be available through MetaMask if user needs to get access to other tokens, and that will be by default activated on Linea. So that's a very important piece of the value proposition. Being able to tap into an existing community of more than 30 million active users, it's something that is extremely powerful, and that definitely will reduce a lot of barriers. And this, of course, will attract more activity, more engagement, and it will be easier for users to jump on board.
Yeah, awesome. I do want to note also kind of within the tech space, kind of an elaboration, right? So when we think about our competitors, there are other ZK EVMs as well as optimistic rollups. So kind of the ZK prop versus optimistic is obviously that piece of the challenge period. So with optimistic proofs, there's a 7-day challenge period withdrawal. For your assets on ETH L1. So obviously that's not the best. There are trusted bridges that you can circumvent this problem, but that doesn't solve the NFT withdrawal problem. That's kind of ZK versus optimistic rollups. And then when we dive into the ZK EVM space, if you guys are familiar, I know we have a few other resources and videos about like the different types of ZK EVMs that our product manager Declan have like hashed over, but to touch on it briefly, type 4 is going to be language equivalent. So that's like Solidity that compiles down into different bytecode to be handled by their EVM. So it's not 100 one-to-one. So they have to maintain kind of their own like plugins to the existing tooling infrastructure you guys might be familiar with. So like Foundry, Triple Hard Hat. And as a little bit of a further departure, whereas Linea is on its way to type 2, which is going to be language level equivalent and bytecode equivalent. So there's no switching cost. You're able to leverage the network effects of Ethereum. But yeah, that's kind of where we sit within the tech space. But Marco brings up a great point. I think no one really ever thinks about, user experience, which is a crucial part of engaging, I guess, devs, right, on that end.
Yeah, that's also another important thing to say is the synergies that we have again with MetaMask, because a lot of things are not able to be implemented on layer one, but they are feasible on layer two. Think about client-side ZKs, think about identity and name resolution. There's a lot of use case payments, for example. There's a lot of use case that can actually be unlocked on layer two. And if these use cases unlocked on layer two that it's fully integrated with MetaMask, then can be also distributed to the wider MetaMask community. That means that they can that there could be a bit of interesting advantages to actually to work together with MetaMask and Infure. Let's put it like this.
Yes. Awesome. So the space was supposed to run 30 minutes, so we actually are 10 minutes over time. But thank you so much for, asking questions, continuing to engage. If you want to, I guess ask more questions, go through our Discord. You'll find information as we put out new educational content. Kind of, I guess, call out. I haven't actually posted the links yet, but next week we are hosting a ETH Global Tokyo recap. So for those of you who hacked with us in Tokyo or want to learn more about that experience, we'll be bringing on some of our winners to talk about it. A community call will be happening towards the end of May. We'll highlight some more partners as well as actually talk about our prover tech. Kind of on my end, I'm a little scared because it's like super like math PhD heavy. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to help translate it for people who don't have that kind of level of experience. But I think it is a really exciting talk about like Linea's, I guess our winning value prop along those lines. But anyways, one last housekeeping thing to say. Like I said before, with regards to these Twitter Space activity on Galaxy, if you are going to be overflow, please, or some of you will be overflow. So when I post the link for YouTube, please click on that to be able to be eligible for your points. So again, keep an eye on our Twitter. That will come out. And that will be part of our social week 2 NFT voyage. Jeremy, did you want to say something?
I was going to give a shout out. That was amazing. I love that. I'm happy. Good information.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So thank you, Marco. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for everybody who joined. This was really exciting. And I hope to see you guys in Lisbon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.